Hey everyone, welcome back to Coffee with Crainer. I'm here with Abbas. He is the founder and CEO of Maverick Capital Limited. He's a real estate investor, off-market property specialist. Has been in the industry for 25 years now. Started in, 5 years now. Started 2020.
Yeah.
And then you've done multiple flips over the years, and was over 100 properties across this area.
Between assignment sales and my own flips and rentals, well over 100. Yep.
Wow, excellent. And this is your full-time gig.
Full-time, you got it.
Awesome. Now to fuel this very intense career, how do you feel yourself with coffee? Where do you go?
Well, I love Anchor House. If you're local from Windsor, you definitely know that spot. So Anchor's definitely my go-to.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a good spot. It's by it's in the Walkerville area.
Right
I mean, is that where is your office located around there?
It's not too far. It's on Ottawa Street, so it's a bit of a hike, but I'm still house hacking in my fourplex, so it's walking distance.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so, how did you start in the real estate business?
Well, I heard something about wholesaling.
Yeah.
Someone piqued my interest. They told me I can flip houses with no money, no credit. And that was music to my ears. So that got me started. I was really gung-ho about it, and that kind of started my career. And then since then, I started to accumulate some properties and did some flips and whatnot.
And so for a person at home that's watching that doesn't understand what wholesaling is, purchasing a property, no money down, how does that work? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yes.
From a high level, obviously.
Yeah, high level. We basically do marketing directly to sellers. So we do a lot of handwritten notes or postcards. We're online as well. So sellers would reach out to us. We would make an offer to purchase the property. Now, before I get the financing and do any renovations, I go ahead and I assign that contract, that purchase agreement, or basically flip the paper. So I sell it to another investor and they buy it from me, hence the assignment. And they end up buying the property. They close on it. They get the financing and I get my assignment fee.
And how many other individuals in let's just stick with Windsor Essex are doing this wholesale approach?
As far as I know, I mean, there's a handful or so. I don't know how many people do it full time. A lot of people kind of do it on the side, or they do one or two deals here and there. But we do this full time, and we've been at it for 5 years now.
5 years, yeah. What were you doing prior to Maverick Capital?
So the last job I had was I was working as a robot programmer. I was a contractor, so they sent me all over Canada and the U.S. Basically, I would be a technician for the robots, industrial robots in the auto sector. So auto manufacturing, the big three especially. So GM, Ford, Chrysler, I'd go to their plants and set up the robots, and whether it's a new factory or they do retooling. So I was doing that. I went to St. Clair 2016 to 2018, and then I was working ever since 2018 up until 2022 or so. I started to transition where I started cutting down my hours. I kind of became part-time, if you will, and eventually I just quit that job and pursued real estate full-time.
When did you know it was the right time to leave robotics?
I knew it was the right time way sooner than I actually left. You know, you have your friends and family in your ear like, no, don't quit your job, and kind of second-guessing myself, but I remember I had 3 closings in 1 month in 2020 of July, I believe. And from 3 closings, I made $28,000. And meanwhile, I'm working crazy hours. It's not a 9 to 5. It's when I was working as a contractor, it was 7 days a week, sometimes 12-hour days. And then at the end of the month, after taxes, I would make like $5,000 net, which at the time seemed like really good money to me. But then when I made $28,000, I was like, man, if I just put my time over here, because I was kind of doing both at that point, if I just take all my time, 80-hour weeks, and just focus that on real estate, how much more money can I make? So that was really the eye-opener. And then it was starting to take me away from real estate. I'd have all these sellers calling me, and I'm at work, and I can't answer the phone. And I was like, man, I need to figure something out. Like I'm going to this job is costing me more money than not.
And now going out on your own, they sometimes say the first 6 months are always the most difficult. Did you experience that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all ups and downs, right? It's not entrepreneurship, business. It's not as stable, as consistent. If you work 40 hours, you're going to get paid worth of 40 hours worth of work. But with the real estate, like you could go a couple months without a deal, without profit, and then maybe 1 month you make like 50,000. So that was kind of the hurdle I had to overcome, and just get more consistent with our marketing, so we have more sellers contacting us.
And in the wholesaling business, do you have to have a real estate license?
No license required.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you have a team that's working with you right now, or are you are you out knocking on doors and doing all the work yourself at the moment?
Yeah, we have a small team that helps us. A couple people on the phones to filter the sellers' calls, and an assistant. And my wife is very helpful with me. She's got the sales experience as well, so sellers really love her. So it's great to have that help.
Yes, absolutely. What's the most challenging part of the business, would you say?
Well, it's all the ups and downs, and sometimes the overhead could get out of hand. Like we spend a ton of money on marketing, like $20,000 a month. So just like the financing aspect can get a little tricky, especially now that we're buying properties as well and closing on them ourselves rather than just assigning. So I would say that's the trickiest part.
Now, marketing, is that for your business, the direct outreach? Do you still do door knocking?
I haven't really done too much door knocking. A couple people, I would find a vacant property. I would do some homework, and I'd figure out where that seller lives, and I would knock on their door. And door knocking definitely works. It's just very time consuming. So for me, I'd rather spend the money and have leads calling me rather than me going out and kind of hunting them.
And for you, what was like the first transaction that you did back in 2020 in this business? Do you remember it?
Yeah, I remember it clearly. And this is before I knew about marketing. So it took me so long to do that first deal. From the time I heard about wholesaling to the time I actually did my first deal, didn't really have anyone showing me step by step what I had to do. So I would just always drive around the city, take different routes, and drive down different streets that I would normally not drive down. And I came across a for sale by owner sign not too far from the casino. And I pulled over. The sellers were there, started chatting them up. I brought them an offer, and I assigned it to an investor I met in Toronto. He was from Windsor, but I met him at a real estate meetup in Toronto, and he ended up being my first buyer. So I called him like, hey, I think I got a deal for you. And he ended up buying 6 out of 12 deals in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that was the spiral where you're like, okay, I got to keep this going.
Yeah, exactly. And after that first deal, the next deal came like a couple months later through networking. I knew an investor. He was splitting up with his partner, and I sold that deal or assigned it to the same buyer. And then I invested myself, hired a mentor or a coach, if you will, joined a mastermind group. And then I've seen all these other guys, young guys, early 20s, and they were absolutely crushing it. I was like, man, what are you guys doing? They were like handwritten letters. And I was just so dead set, I have to do these handwritten letters. And then that's when I started doing the marketing, and then it became more consistent.
And you've advertised online taking like an 80K trailer and transforming it into a home. Can you talk to us about that project?
Yes. So one of the things that I do is flip mobile homes, trailers. I know a lot of investors shy away from it. Some people are like, no, you don't own the land. I don't want to. The first deal I did was kind of a fluke. I just saw it on Kijiji, and the seller was super motivated. And then after I did my first deal, it really opened up my eyes. And this latest one is in the Tecumseh Mobile Home Park, and they got my flyer. It was an estate sale. Someone passed away. They were debating whether they're going to fix it up and sell it or just sell it as is. So ended up buying it as is for $80,000. Put about $25,000 into renos, and we just recently sold it for $170,000, and we're just waiting for the closing on that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's like with the reno piece of it, do you have a team that assists you with that, or are you out doing the renos? How does that work?
I'm not swinging any hammers. I'm not a handy person, and I have no desire to be. I really like the sales aspect and negotiating with sellers and just making offers. So I have a few different contractors I work with, and I just hire them for each project case by case.
No, it's good. I think in entrepreneurship, a lot of people try to do everything, and understanding where your strengths are is important.
Absolutely.
Right, in this business. So you're focused more on the sales, and then you hire your general contractors and run it
Yeah,
that way.
absolutely. And a lot of people get stuck. They want to do the work themselves. And sometimes it makes sense if you're a contractor. Yeah, absolutely. But I see so many people, they tried to DIY it and then they take 6 months for a project. And when you're doing it yourself, you can only do so many projects, maybe one or two. Like once past two, it gets really tough if you're doing it all by yourself. So with hiring contractors, yeah, my profit margin goes down, but I'm able to do more deals
Yes.
at once.
Yeah. And how many deals do you have on the go at one time, would you say?
Well, it's been picking up lately. Like we have quite a few. Like I'd have to count
Yeah.
them. I would say like half a dozen
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Is it a lot to manage at points?
It is. It is. I'm trying to get better and get more organized, and my assistant's very helpful. And in the near future, we're gonna have to hire someone just to be like project manager.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you going into that question? Like, where do you see Maverick Capital in 10 years from now?
That's a great question. I don't think I would be able to see when I first started where we are today. So
Yeah.
it's hard to see that, but I would say that we would definitely expand. Initially, I started in the Windsor Essex market, and then we kind of added Chatham, Kent, and Sarnia. It just logistically made the most sense the next town over. And Windsor's just a small market. To hit our goals, we really just need more houses.
Yeah.
So right now we're between Windsor and Kitchener-Waterloo, Hamilton, Niagara, right before like GTA basically. So the next 10 years, I would see us expanding beyond that, maybe Windsor to Ottawa, maybe even beyond different provinces or different states.
Yeah.
And just getting into more real estate holdings. So more rental properties, more fix and flips, that sort of thing.
What do you enjoy most, the wholesaling, fix and flips, or managing rentals?
Wholesaling. It's the least amount of headache. So I have great contractors. Some of them are better than others, and sometimes when we're doing so many deals at once, I don't want to distract my contractor, so I have to go out and find another contractor. And managing the contractors, even if you have a GC, you kind of have to manage the GC, and that's kind of my least favorite. And maybe that's kind of a shortfall on my skill set to managing people and contractors. So just a lot of headache, a lot of deficiencies. You notice things, oh, they didn't do this right or that right. And for me, that's kind of a pet peeve. And with wholesaling, it's really hands off, stress free for the most part.
And you had mentioned house hacking. Yep. What, for those listening, what do you mean by that?
So that's when you live in a unit. If you have a multi-unit property, you live in one unit. For example, a duplex, live on one unit, rent out the other. Or people can do this with their house, they rent out the basement. So for myself, my goal was to purchase a fourplex. And right before I purchased the fourplex, I had a duplex. I was really thinking I was going to buy that one and live in it. I ended up wholesaling that one, made a great assignment fee. And then a buddy of mine, another person that was doing wholesaling at the time, he had a fourplex right around the corner. And I ran the numbers, and it seemed to work quite well, even with a private lender. So I ended up buying a legal fourplex. I currently live in one unit and have the other three rented.
Well, and how's that working out?
It's been great. I was able to refinance a couple times, pull out all my equity. I mean, the market helped with COVID and whatnot. Like everything kind of doubled in price. So the valuation, more than doubled, and ended up being a fantastic deal. And it keeps my living costs nice and low.
Yes. And how do you find the market now? You had mentioned the COVID market. What is it like today on your side of the business?
Well, it's way different. Like, just to give people contrast, during COVID, buyers were everywhere. Everyone was buying up properties left and right. But the sellers, they knew what the market was. So they were expecting top dollar. Like on the market, people were paying $100,000 over asking. So it got crazy. And it was really tough to find sellers that would sell us their property under market value. But the buyers were plentiful. And in today's market, it's kind of the opposite. The sellers are everywhere. There's a lot of motivation, a lot of distress, unfortunately. It's great for us to be able to find these properties at a discount, but the buyers are kind of hesitant. They are expecting really, really cheap prices. And a lot of them are sitting on the sidelines and not even purchasing property. So whenever the volume of transactions goes down, that affects everyone in the real estate business.
Yes. And going back to the COVID times where the prices of homes were quite high, how are you able to still find those wholesale properties to assign to other people?
Well, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. So
Yep.
there's still people that are motivated, whether it's like financial, health, people just want to downsize. So we still were able to find some great opportunities.
But now you're finding there's way more opportunities available
Yeah,
too.
way more sellers and way less buyers right now.
And how do you, with less buyers, how are you still able to find a buyer? Because you can find the sellers quite easy, but how are you going out there and finding those buyers that'll be tough to get?
Well, we're focusing on growing that buyers list. We have an email list where we send out our off-market properties, and
yeah, I'm subscribed to it, so I see it once in a while. Yeah,
great. So the key for us is to continue to grow that list, because some of the people that were buying in 2020, 2021, even 22 are not the same buyers that are buying today. So I had to just keep growing that buyers list, and I work with a lot of real estate agents. They're the best people to deal with because they have the buyers. So a lot of them will bring us a buyer and we pay them their commission and everyone wins.
That's what we like to hear. Any advice for somebody that's looking to open up a company similar to yours?
Just do it and learn the ropes. You got to educate yourself. Before I got started, and even till today, I'm always listening to podcasts, watching YouTube videos, learning from others. And that's kind of what it's all about. And especially the marketing aspect, because the first 2 deals came from just driving for dollars, as we call it, driving around the city and networking. So that's not very scalable. It's not easy to replicate. So it's all about the marketing, because if you're consistent with the marketing, you always have new sellers to talk to.
You mentioned podcasts. Is there a favorite that you listen to that comes to mind?
Oh, there's so many good ones. Real estate specific or?
Let's go real estate. Yeah.
Real estate. Oh boy, there's so many good ones. One of them on top of my mind I've been listening to recently is Steve Trang, Disruptors.
Okay.
So he interviews a lot of guys from the U.S. and kind of learn about what's working for them and try to implement it in my business.
Do you see an opportunity in U.S. wholesaling for your business?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the double-edged sword of being an entrepreneur. We see opportunities everywhere. So you gotta have to, for me anyway, I like to kind of sit back and take a step back and decide, is this really an opportunity or is it a distraction? Yes, there's a lot more opportunity in the States. There's also a lot more competition. And here I feel like I'm already established. I have a good buyer's list. I have the marketing. I have the brand. So I could definitely start fresh in a new market, but then it's kind of starting all over again from scratch. So
yeah, that's not always fun to do, and it's interesting, and especially in Detroit, it seems that there's a lot of listings, but minimal buyers. Kind of what we're seeing here a little bit, and the values seem to be a little bit lower depending on the part of the state.
Absolutely.
Right, and it seems like they're having a tough time finding tenants for any rental properties, depending on the location, right? But you can get a duplex or even a triplex for maybe $200,000.
Yeah,
and
it's funny that you mention it, because before I started wholesaling here in Windsor, I was working, as we chatted earlier off camera, I used to work in the U.S. So I used to, as you know, if you're from Windsor, you know a lot of people in Windsor work in Detroit or Michigan. And that commute was just killing me. Like sometimes with traffic, when I worked in Novi, for example, in the morning when there's no traffic, it'd be an hour commute there. On the way back with traffic, sometimes it would take me 2 hours on the way back. And I just got sick of it. And I was really looking into buying a property there because I thought I was going to keep that day job. And it's like, why would I cross the border? I had a TN visa, allows me to live in the States for up to 3 years. So I figured, hey, why don't I just buy property here, house hack, and just go to work and not have to cross the border. And then shortly after that, while I was kind of shopping around, I ended up doing my first wholesale deal. And then things just started to pick up for me. And then I realized, hey, I don't want to keep that job. So I just, kind of squashed those plans.
Now, where can people reach out to you to get on this list or to learn more about wholesaling if they're looking for any type of coaching, if that's something that you offer?
The social media is the best way. So I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Abbas 17. So the link is in my bio. The link is in my bio for the buyers list if you want to join the buyers list.
Sweet.
And if you guys
Is
have
there a
any
cost at all
questions,
to join the buyers
no,
list?
it's completely free. We send you deals every week straight to your inbox.
Okay, nice
Yeah.
and easy. You just scroll through, and if something catches your attention, they speak with you directly, or do they speak to somebody on your
absolutely.
team?
I have my number there, so if they want to inquire about a property, they can give me a ring and be happy to chat about it.
Awesome. And final question for you, Alan. So, if a young Alan Abbas walked in the room, what would you say to him? Any advice? I like to ask this question sometimes.
Yeah, just go for it. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna have your friends, your family. They're not gonna understand. They're gonna question it. They're gonna say, is this even legal?
Yeah.
And absolutely, it is. You just have to listen to your own gut instinct, because if I listen to everyone else around me, I wouldn't be.
I'd still be working
in a factory, which nothing wrong with that, but it's just not something I want to do long term.
And realizing it, and then also taking action and just going for it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Alan, and thanks to those watching. What was your website? Is it Maverick?
Yeah, if you have a property sell, it's maverick-capital.ca. And
awesome.
If you guys want to see our off-market properties, you can also see them on offmarketexchange.ca.
Excellent. Be sure to check it out, and thank you so much for watching. Visit coffeewithcrainer.com to find all the episodes. Hope to see you soon.